I thought I was just helping my neighbor's son with his homework until he said something that stopped me cold. At 62, I'd forgotten what it felt like to be seen, truly seen. But that night, through the eyes of a 14-year-old boy, I remembered who I used to be and why I still matter. Hi everyone, I'm Jessica, the storyteller on the Adult Women's Tales channel. Here, I'll share stories about love, conflicts, betrayal, and infidelity within American families. These stories offer a deep look into relationships and the challenges families face. Stay tuned and explore with me. If you love emotional stories and want to uncover the hidden secrets in families, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our videos. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up, share your insights in the comments, and subscribe to keep up with our newest stories. When I agreed to assist Jacob with his homework that evening, I had no expectations of anything unusual happening. Just as I finished trimming the roses in the front yard, Marlene, my neighbor from 2 doors down, called me in a bit of a panic. She needed to cover an emergency shift at the clinic and reached out to see if I could look after her son for a few hours. Absolutely, I agreed without hesitation. Jacob was consistently polite, somewhat reserved, and notably serious for a 14-year-old. Yet, there was a subtle charm about him that brought to mind my own son at that same age. I brewed a soothing pot of chamomile tea, slipped into a cozy beige sweater and soft navy slacks, and proceeded to arrange the dining room table with Jacob's school books. The tranquility of the house at that hour was delightful, as the evening sun streamed through the lace curtains, casting a warm amber glow on the wooden floors. Everything felt serene and tranquil. Jacob showed up, backpack casually draped over one shoulder, a hint of breathlessness in his demeanor, and immediately expressed his gratitude. I presented him with a refreshing glass of orange juice, alongside a tempting plate of oatmeal cookies I had baked just the night before. With a shy smile, he took a seat and retrieved his notebook. We were engaged in a civics assignment focused on community involvement and the framework of local government. To be honest, I hadn't revisited that type of material in years, but as I leaned in next to him to peruse his notes, it all flooded back to me. While we were working, I observed how he would occasionally steal glances at me, only to quickly avert his gaze again. Initially, I attributed it to a sense of awkwardness. He was just a teenage boy, yet there was an undeniable quality in the way he sat so upright, striving to project an image of maturity beyond his years. It brought to mind how my son would act when he was eager to make a good impression on a teacher or someone he admired. I couldn't help but smile quietly to myself, keeping my thoughts to myself. His handwriting was impressive, neat and meticulous. He absorbed every word, nodding thoughtfully, posing questions, and jotting down notes in the margins. We discussed the dynamics of communities and how even the smallest actions can create a ripple effect, transforming lives. I talked about my experience volunteering at the food pantry during the holidays and how, at times, simply being present to listen to someone created a greater impact than I could have anticipated. He appeared to appreciate that, and I noticed a glimmer of contemplation in his eyes. After an hour, I observed that he appeared somewhat distracted. His pencil lingered above the page, perfectly still, while his brows knitted together in concentration. I inquired whether everything was all right. After a moment of hesitation, he gave a slow nod. Absolutely. I've been reflecting on your words about the significance of even the smallest gestures, like lending a hand and showing kindness. I nodded, subtly prompting him to continue. He gazed up at me, his youthful and sincere eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that took me by surprise. "You always speak to me as if I'm more than just a kid," he said, his voice low. "What I say holds significance, even when it pertains to school matters." A slight tightness gripped my chest. I didn't mean to do it, but I came to understand that it held significance for him. "You're so considerate, Jacob," I remarked, placing my hand softly over his for a brief moment. "You perceive aspects that many of your peers overlook. This is crucial." He remained close, yet his gaze fell, a blush creeping across his cheeks. In that moment, the room was enveloped in an almost palpable stillness where the ticking of the wall clock resonated like a drumbeat in the silence. I withdrew my hand and grabbed my tea, attempting to shift the atmosphere to something more cheerful. We wrapped up the assignment, and I assisted him in sorting the papers back into his folder. He took his time, collecting his belongings with an unhurried pace. He rose to his feet, slinging his backpack over one shoulder once more, and hesitated at the door. "May I pose a question to you?" He spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. "Absolutely." He gazed at me with an inquisitive look. "Have you ever sensed that you're the sole person who truly pays attention to others?" I was completely taken by surprise. I was momentarily at a loss for words. That question caught me off guard, especially coming from him at that moment. At times, I find myself reflecting on this truth. It's precisely why I strive to be a listener, even when others may not be. He nodded, then unexpectedly stepped closer, enveloping my shoulders in a gentle embrace. The hug was simple yet profoundly meaningful, brimming with unspoken emotions that transcended words. "Thank you," he murmured gently. In an instant, he stepped out the door, strolling down the sidewalk toward home beneath the expansive blue sky of the encroaching night. I gently shut the door, allowing my hand to rest on the knob for a moment. That moment lingered with me far longer than I anticipated. Perhaps it was the way he gazed at me, not with the innocence of youth, but with the depth of someone who had encountered kindness and cherished it as if it held true significance. Perhaps what we all seek in the end is to be remembered in that light, to hold significance, if only for a fleeting moment. The following morning, I caught myself pondering Jacob more than I was willing to confess. As I swirled my coffee at the kitchen table, the steam danced gracefully into the morning light, and I pondered the lingering impact of his words on my mind. His gaze held a depth that made me feel truly seen, a sensation I hadn't experienced in years. Ever since my son relocated across the country with his family and my husband passed away, things have felt different. It lacked any sense of romance. It was perfectly acceptable. It was simply genuine, authentic. In that moment of truth, a warmth enveloped me, something I hadn't experienced in ages. At midday, Marvin reached out to express his gratitude once more and inquired if Jacob could swing by after school for assistance with another assignment. I accepted without a second thought, convincing myself it was merely about the homework, merely about lending a hand. Once more, I arranged his favorite cookies and ensured the house was neat, with soft, inviting lighting ready by the time the school bell would have chimed. Upon his arrival that afternoon, he wore a subtle smile, a blend of politeness and contemplation. After a brief exchange of pleasantries, I guided him to the dining room table, where his books awaited his attention. The focus this time was on English literature, with a particular emphasis on Shakespeare. Julius Caesar. A chuckle escaped me when I laid eyes on the assignment. Years ago, it was my favorite play to teach during my time as a substitute teacher. The irony and betrayal, the emotional undercurrents concealed beneath those grand speeches have always captivated me. We explored several passages together. I urged him to reflect on Brutus, on the intricate nature of loyalty and uncertainty. He was involved in a manner that took me by surprise, highlighting details I had overlooked at his age. He looked at me with admiration and said, "You truly care about this. Your words suggest it still holds significance." "It truly does," I remarked, taken aback by the depth of feeling in my voice. The timeless tales serve as a reminder that our differences are not as vast as we might think. Throughout history, individuals have experienced feelings of betrayal, loss, and courage, often struggling to articulate these emotions. He gazed at me silently, then gave a nod. "You create an atmosphere where those thoughts feel completely acceptable. Experiencing emotions is completely normal." His words carried a weight, as if no one had ever shared that with him before. Perhaps he had always been a bit too tender for a world that favored hard-hearted boys. Our discussion seamlessly transitioned from literature to a more personal realm, unfolding naturally and without any set agenda. He shared a story about a teacher who had diminished his spirit, revealing moments when he longed to be someone else entirely. He expressed a feeling of invisibility, as if others never truly recognized him in the way he yearned to be acknowledged. I mentioned that there's no need for you to alter your true self to have significance. Those who truly count will notice you in due time. They'll catch the subtle nuances, the little details you believe remain unnoticed, just as you do. His words resonated deeply within me, prompting a moment of reflection as I felt an unexpected lump form in my throat. I nodded slowly, as is my way. He adjusted in his chair, lightly tracing his fingers along the rim of his notebook. "Have you ever longed for someone to express that to you?" he inquired. I gazed at him for a moment, day after day. We lingered in a comfortable silence afterward, rich and fulfilling. The emotional weight of the moment hung across the table like a thread pulled taut, present, palpable, and undeniably real. Eventually, we returned to the homework, but the pace had slowed, the urgency diminished. It was as if we both sensed a subtle shift, not dramatic or loud, but akin to the quiet transition of a season, soft, unavoidable, and subtly stunning. As the moment arrived for him to depart, he paused at the door, turning back to face me, his backpack casually slung at his side. "May I return tomorrow?" he inquired. "Absolutely," I replied. "At your convenience." He offered a faint smile and then remarked, "I don't believe it's solely about the homework." "I understand," I responded gently. He strolled down the path once more, yet this time there was an unmistakable shift in the air. Not incorrect, simply more, richer. The distance separating us seemed to acquire a significance of its own, silent yet profoundly grasped. As I shut the door that evening, the house seemed to come alive with a subtle energy. It felt as if a part of it had been gently heated by an unforeseen source. For the first time in ages, I truly felt engaged rather than just going through the motions. I experienced a sense of connection, recognition, and perhaps a longing for validation. As the third evening approached, it transformed into a subtle yet cherished ritual. A gentle tap on the door at approximately 4:30. Jacob entered with a soft greeting, as if he were crossing the threshold into a realm of serene tranquility. I had started to anticipate that moment, the sound of his voice shattering the stillness in my home. The day unfolded under a blanket of grey clouds, with a gentle breeze whispering a hint of chill in the air. A candle flickered on the side table in the living room, radiating a warm, amber scent that enveloped the space in a cozy embrace. Jacob settled into his seat at the table, yet this time he left his books untouched. He cast a quick look at the items in his backpack before turning his gaze toward me. "Can we have a conversation today?" he inquired. I acted without a moment's pause. Absolutely. I had brought 2 cups of hot chocolate instead of tea, and we sat there, the steam rising between us like a soft, inviting veil. The silence was no longer devoid of meaning. It felt intentional, as if we were allowing each other the space to exhale. He inquired about my experiences from the time I was his age, reflecting on my school experiences, my aspirations for the future, and the deepest fears that haunted me. Initially, I chuckled, dismissing it casually. He was genuinely serious, and it struck me that no one had posed those questions to me in years. With a smile, I recalled my dream of becoming a writer. I filled countless notebooks with poems and stories, some shining with potential, while others fell flat. What held you back? Existence, union, children, expenses. I provided him with the familiar response, yet this time it felt insubstantial, almost simplistic. I shared the honest truth with him. I believe I've lost faith in the significance of my stories." He gazed at me with his wide, perceptive eyes. "Indeed, they do. Your message comes across effortlessly. Engaging in conversation with you feels like being immersed in a captivating narrative. Everything carries significance." His voice carried such genuine emotion that I found myself needing to glance away for a moment. No one had ever expressed that to me, not even my late husband. After years of embracing the roles of wife, mother, and neighbor, I realized I had lost touch with the part of myself that once aspired to be something more, something complete just for me. Jacob's presence, his questions, his curiosity, they reignited that dormant spark within. He leaned in slightly, resting his elbows on the table. "You help me embrace my passion for caring deeply and pondering life's complexities." "You're not strange," I said softly. "You possess a deep sensitivity that's truly one of a kind and invaluable. Protect what is rightfully yours." He smiled once more, though this time it was softer, tinged with a hint of vulnerability. "There are moments when I find myself wishing you held the role of my mom." The words took me aback, not with shock, but with the depth of their emotional impact. I extended my hand across the table and made contact with his. "While I may not be your mother, Jacob, my concern for you runs deep, profoundly. That holds significance as well." He nodded, and for what felt like an eternity, silence enveloped us both. The wind swelled outside, caressing the windows with a gentle whisper of rustling leaves. Within that space, we found ourselves enveloped in a profound connection, bound by an unspoken and genuine essence. Eventually, he inquired if he could share something he had penned. I nodded in agreement as he retrieved a folded sheet from his bag. It was a handwritten short story, raw and beautiful, depicting a boy lost in a forest who encounters a woman. She guides him not by directing him, but by simply listening. As I lifted my gaze from the page, I found him observing me intently. He mentioned that he penned it following that initial night. Uncertain of how to express my thoughts, I crafted a narrative instead. Tears threatened to spill from the corners of my eyes, yet I held them back. I leaned in and wrapped my arms around him. He embraced me in return, this time with both arms, gripping tightly as if he were securing himself to something unwavering. I whispered, "You're destined to be an incredible writer. Keep pushing forward." He gently withdrew, his gaze meeting mine with an indescribable softness. This was more than just a fleeting crush of youth. It was not a case of misplaced emotion. It was all about respect, profound, unadulterated admiration. Additionally, there's another point to consider, perhaps a sense of gratitude, acknowledgement. He didn't linger much longer after that. He had a delicious dinner prepared and waiting for him at home. Before he departed, he turned to me and said, "You've transformed something within me." As I closed the door, I lingered for a while, cradling the story in my hands. The house surrounding me transformed from just a residence into a space brimming with significance once more. It felt as though, through him, I had rediscovered a part of myself that I believed was gone for good. Days had passed since Jacob's last visit, and in his absence, the silence in my house grew heavier, not in loneliness, but in fullness. Rich with memories, steeped in reflection, capturing an essence I had yet to articulate. His story was tucked away meticulously in a drawer, alongside a collection of cherished old photographs and postcards that I just couldn't bear to part with. It felt perfect, surrounded by items that had once held immense significance in my life. At last, his story held significance as well. It was one afternoon when the knock echoed once more. I opened the door, and there he stood, clutching a book this time instead of his usual backpack. He flashed a smile, yet I sensed an underlying change. His expression was composed yet earnest, as if he had practiced the words he was about to deliver. "Is it possible for us to sit outside?" he inquired. "The weather is delightful today." It certainly was. The early spring air carried a gentle warmth, making it delightful, while the garden started to unveil its fresh hints of green once more. I guided him to the rustic bench nestled beneath the ancient maple tree. As we settled in, it let out a soft creak. A gentle breeze whispered through the branches above. He presented me with the book, a captivating collection of short stories. I flipped it over, my eyebrows arching in surprise. "It's yours now," he declared. "It's time to put pen to paper once more, I believe. Perhaps you halted your efforts prematurely." I smiled, gently gliding my thumb over the cover. "You recalled." "I remember everything you say," he replied, his eyes locked with mine. The atmosphere around us became tranquil. I found myself uncertain about how to approach that sentence. It was stunning and slightly bittersweet simultaneously. How many times had I longed for someone to genuinely listen to me? Here he stood, this young man poised on the brink of something extraordinary, presenting all the fragments I had long concealed beneath the monotony of everyday life. He continued, sharing his thoughts on identity, desires, and the essence of meaningful connections with others. I remained silent, allowing him the time he needed to gather his thoughts. He spoke gently, acknowledging the vastness of his own ignorance. "Yet, I truly understand the warmth of being here with you, feeling secure, as if someone recognized me without any judgment." He faced me, and I could sense the depth of feeling in his eyes, a maturity that belied his age, yet it felt entirely genuine. It emerged from a profound and authentic place. "I aspire to be that kind of person for others, just as you have been for me." A subtle sensation stirred within me, a gentle ache intertwined with a sense of pride. I grasped his hand, not to offer comfort, but to stand united. "You're already there, Jacob. You just haven't realized it yet." He reclined, gazing upward through the foliage. "It's unusual. I was surprised by the depth of my feelings for you." I confessed that I hadn't either. Perhaps that's the true blessing of it. Surprises have a unique ability to awaken us like nothing else. He lingered for a moment, observing the dance of the leaves. He was deep in thought, taking his time, allowing everything to sink in. Then he uttered a phrase that will forever be etched in my memory. "You've shown me that it's okay to embrace my emotions and to care deeply, even when things get complicated." Tears gathered before I could hold them back, and I allowed them to cascade this time. It was simply a matter of honesty, devoid of any shame. For years, I concealed aspects of who I am, protecting old scars and prioritizing others while neglecting my own needs. Jacob stood above me, transformed, no longer just a boy, but a figure embracing his true self. "I can't predict what the future holds, but you'll always hold a special place in my heart, not just as my neighbor, but as the first person who made me feel valued and significant to someone." I stood there, embracing him one final time, fully aware that this was goodbye, at least in the way it had always been, and that was perfectly all right. Not every moment is destined to endure. They are designed to mold us. As he strolled away along the sidewalk, I felt no sorrow. I experienced something different: tranquility. That evening, I cracked open a pristine notebook, one that had remained untouched for years. I was uncertain about what I would write, but I was confident that I would find the words. As the sun sank beneath the horizon and silence enveloped the world, I embarked on a new journey. Not as a voice seeking to break the quiet, but as an individual who has finally found the words to express themselves. For the first time in ages, it truly felt like the narrative belonged to me. Inquire with Chachapiti. That's it for today's story. If you found it moving, don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. 8.